Hello everyone, my name is Dee. Welcome to my channel. I have been thinking about starting this for a couple of years now since I got my son's diagnosis. He's 7 years old and he was diagnosed 2 years ago in November with Aspergers and ADHD. But as you know, if you know and love an Aspie, that you do not call it Asperger's anymore. It is actually called high functioning autism. So if you do love someone that's an Aspie or you know someone that has one, they're very, very smart people. They just are very logical and I call it smartism. But once you get the diagnosis, it's like a whirlwind that comes over you. And you always know that there's something different, but until you get the diagnosis, it never really clicks. And then when it clicks with you, you want to go out there and read everything you can about it. You want to get knowledgeable. You want information. You want to know if your baby's going to be with you for the rest of your life, if they're going to be able to have a functioning life. And so these doctors, they test them and they throw you out there. And basically you have to find the resources that you need to get help. So first thing I did was file for a disability, and of course I got turned down. And so instead of trying to find things to fix it, I decided to fix me and find out what the best parenting is for an Aspie to be able to give him the best life and for him to be able to function in the world as you and I. And even though they'll never really function as you and I because their brains have different operating systems than ours do, like we're functioning on Androids and they're functioning on Apples. So they're just built differently and things affect them differently. And it took me a long time because I was brought up, if you're disrespectful and rude, then you get a spanking or you're disciplined. And that really doesn't work that well with an Aspie because all you're doing is showing them more violence and showing them to be more mean. So this is very controversial, and you may have a way that works for you, and you may discipline and you may spank, and that's on you. If it works for your Aspie, that's great. Each Aspie is different, and we're all just here to support each other. Nobody is a professional. We're all just winging it in this parenting Asperger's world we're living in, and it's just so frustrating that you don't really have any help. And so he started kindergarten and he did really well at the beginning, but then he just started having behavior issues because he loves video games. And so everything that he hears on a video game, he repeats, like go kill yourself or die in a fire, and he doesn't really know the magnitude of what he's saying. So he's getting therapy once a week finally, and that just happened in the last 4 months. So for a year and a half, I was just doing this all on my own. So finally I reached out and I got him a caseworker and I got him a therapist to help with some of the behavior things. And we learned first and then, and I'll be talking about that later in some other videos, but we learned visual aids. We learned that his hearing is heightened and that when we go out in public, he can hear the dings of the register and the shuffle of the feet. And so it makes them act out even more out in public. It's not that they're bad kids, it's just that they hear so much more than we do and see so much more than we do because the bright lights are just glaring and all their senses are heightened and they're just so logical. Like my son would always wonder why Baby Bell was called Baby Bell the cheese, because there's no baby and there's no bell. Olive Garden is the same way. He expected there to be olives in a garden at Olive Garden. He doesn't believe in Santa Claus because he knows that somebody can't fit down a chimney and get to all the houses in one night. So he's just so logical, and you can't pull reverse psychology on him, and you can't reverse psychology, and you just can't pull the wool over his eyes. He's super, super smart. But the frustrating part is that he can't go to public school. school because, you know, in public school now, if you say the wrong thing, you're suspended or kicked out. Plus, they usually have a lot of doctor's appointments and they have to see psychiatrists, or they're not allowed to get their medicine. They have to see their family doctor, their Aspie doctor. He was seeing a feeding team, a dentist, and so he misses a lot of school. And so when he was in public school, because he missed a lot of school, they referred me to another psychiatrist in the school, hoping that they could help me not miss days for the appointments. So we decided to let him work with the people in the school, and because, you know, that's how you get an IEP or a 504 plan. And they wanted to diagnose him all over again after I had finally went through 5 years of not knowing, and then finally for a year I knew. And all of a sudden, the school wanted to pull the rug out from underneath me in order to get a 504 plan or an IEP. So I just decided to take him out and homeschool. Now, I'm homeschooling him and he is excelling. He is working ahead. He knows he's working off grade level. He makes 100s. He does K-12 in CBA, and it's just been a godsend. And the best part about that is that he can work at his own pace. If he's having a meltdown, he can take a break and try some of his calming techniques and then go back to school. And so we have all day to do that, and all evening if it takes. So it's really, really good that he is not forced to sit in a seat, because he really is. I mean, you can tell just me moving around in this video that I have ADHD, but he got that for me. And the Aspergers, I'm actually going to have myself tested for, because just some similarities, but I'm not 100% sure if I have adult Asperger's, but I am going to check into it. He is just the best thing that ever happened to me. I know that he was given to me for a reason, because he's taught me patience. He's taught me empathy. He's taught me that I don't know everything, that I'm not the best parent on the planet, that we're all just learning in this thing called life. So he keeps me in check, and I just been thinking about starting this YouTube channel because I wanted a platform where I could not only deflate and reach out for support. I just want to show other people that there's more single moms out here, or moms, you know, that even have help from the dad, that have Aspie children. And I'm just winging it. Like, if you have any tips for me, I'd be more than happy to accept them. Just reach out to me. But it's been a struggle, but it's been a blessing all at the same time. So it's good to know when you finally get the diagnosis. Just knowing is such a relief. But then educating yourself so they can have the best life is the next step. And then after that, it's getting them out there in the community so they can be surrounded by other Aspies or other high-functioning autistic children or other ADHD kids, just so they don't think that they're not normal. But what is really normal? None of us are normal. So I really hate that they always get compared to normal, because on the real, nobody is normal. Everybody is just a little off in my book. So, and then, you know, once you do have the diagnosis, you try to help people understand it. Like, he'll be flipping out on me in public and people are looking at me like, you're going to let him talk to you like that? Yeah, well, actually, I'll handle it when I get in the car or when I get home. But you just can't begat violence with my son in particular, because it just makes him act worse. So I kind of have to deflate myself, like dig my heels into wherever I'm standing, or take myself to a happy place, or just breathe, or just tell myself, you know, that we're learning and he's going to get better. So There's all kinds of coping techniques that I'm learning as I go, and I'll be more than happy to share everything that I'm learning with everyone. So I decided to make this YouTube channel just so I can share everything that I know, because as soon as I got my diagnosis, I went looking for information. I went looking for help, and it's just not really out there. And April is Autism Awareness Month, so why not pick this month to start my YouTube channel? To introduce you guys this month to my Aspie. His name is Gage. He's 7 years old. He is just awesome and funny. He loves to sing. He loves to act. He loves Minecraft. He loves Roblox. He loves Fortnite. He would stay on a video game, as you guys know, all day, every day if I would let him. But I got to be a good mom every once in a while and take him off the virtual babysitter and actually have him go outside and do stuff and, get his schoolwork done. But he's absolutely terrified of so many things, bless his heart. And then no fear and fearless in others. So I know he definitely will not swim in a pool where he can't touch. He's deathly terrified of bugs. Textures, tags. I mean, it's just constantly, we can't even put on his socks a certain way. If they have a seam in them, then it drives him crazy. And so we are challenged every day, but it is just amazing. He makes me happy, and there's no sense in getting upset or mad about it because it's really not his fault. It's just the way his brain operates. So I have learned so much patience. I have learned to be more open-minded. I have learned just so much in the last, let's see, he was diagnosed in November. This year, November would have been, so it's a year and a half. He got diagnosed not this last November, but the November before. So it's been a year and a half. For the first year, we really didn't get anything. They told us to reach out to a family support network that only met once a month. And we did that a couple of times. But now we're really getting in the community, and we are going to start doing a drop-in at the Y and get him into some acting classes and some singing and all that. So it's just good to reach out in the community and see what there is for people like Aspies, and just, love them. They're just like any other kid. They just, like I said, their brains work differently. And they might try your patience, and they might have meltdowns, and they might, break down in the middle of the store, but they will keep you laughing every day. They will keep you in stitches. And just don't listen to the old timers that say that this doesn't exist anymore, okay? Because it does. You don't know how many old timers told me that he's just a boy being a boy. Well, you don't live with him. You can spend 30 minutes with my child and you might not think that he has Asperger's, but if you spend a whole day with him, especially when he hasn't had his medicine, I'm telling you, you'll be calling me and asking me, what to do, because he will outsmart you. He will outvoice you. He will outmove you. I mean, he is just a ball full of energy. Lots of questions. He wants to know how everything works. He's so afraid that he doesn't know the meaning of life, or that he's missed something so far. He's always talking about that. He loves animals with all his heart and soul. He cried over a fish that died when we went to the fair. He won a fish and it died like a year ago. And when we were going back to the fair, it triggered it for him. And he started crying again about his goldfish. So they're just so kind-hearted and wear their heart in their sleeves. And if you know an Aspie, just if they'll allow you to give them a hug and just let them know that, you think that they're awesome or they're rad, it really will make their day, because they strive for compliments and like having attention. But then again, every Aspie is different. I should say mine does, instead of generalizing them all, because that's what people do to them, and I don't want to be that person. So I'm learning, and I'm more than happy to share with you guys. This is a relaxed environment for me. I do another group on Facebook where everything is so policy and uptight and I can't be myself, and because that's my job and I have to keep up a persona. And here I just want to relax and just talk to you guys and have you ask me questions if you have any. And if I can help, I would be more than happy to help. Just know that I'm not a professional. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just winging it. And I can just tell you from experience of what I've seen with my son. And especially if you have a child under the age of 7 that's been diagnosed with an Aspie or ADHD. I've been there. I understand what you're going through. I know your frustrations. I know your, happy places, and it's just nice to have somebody understand, because I don't really have someone else in my community locally that I can hang out with that gets it. And as soon as people hear the word autism, they think of a child that can't talk, and bless their heart, that breaks my heart that there are kids out there like that. And I'm just, my heart pours out to them. And so people just assume that. And so I wish that they still did call it Asperger's, because it would just make it a lot easier, because people are, especially when I'm asking family members or, like family, to keep an eye on them, they hear the word autism and they're thinking that they're going to have to do all this stuff for him. And granted, I do still put his socks on, and there are a lot of things that he can't do. But we're working on that with the therapist, and he'll come around, and I just have faith in him, and I believe in myself, especially if I can get a community of other people that understand and want to support and have been where I'm at. So subscribe to my channel, like this video. There's going to be plenty more where this came from, and I'll let you get to know a little bit about myself. I'm 41 years old, and my son Gage is the only one at home right now, but I'm actually a grandmother, and my granddaughter's 6 months old. So I'm pretty busy, but I do need a place where I can just talk and let out my frustrations. And I'm not here to complain at all, because I love, love, love my Aspie. And I feel like that I have him for a reason, and that what doesn't kill us makes us stronger. And I'm so much stronger a year and a half later than I was a year and a half ago. So, I don't regret anything. I don't even regret that he didn't get diagnosed until a year and a half ago, because maybe I wouldn't have understood it when I was younger. Maybe I wouldn't have embraced it as much as I have. So just, know that there are other people out there that are in the same boat, that are just as scared and just as nervous and just as confused, but we put on our happy face and we smile, because we don't want them to know that there's anything, or feel like there's anything wrong with them, because there's not. And that's why I call it smartism. I tell my son that he has smartism, and so he can just feel happy and confident and not feel any less than anybody else. So if you have a question, I'll do a Q&A at some point. But again, my name is Dee. Welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.